Good morning and welcome back to another weekly tarot with Salann, one half of the Two Pondering Pagans. Let's get this started. So it is currently about 6 o'clock in the morning in sunny Southwest Florida. Well, not sunny yet, but will be soon. Very exciting day planned today. Lots of things going on. Meeting with tribe and having fun with friends today. This is going to be a very good community day for us. In light of that, I wanted to get a tarot done a little earlier and get this out to you guys because I'm excited to use a new deck. And this is the Runic Tarot. I'm going to put it up there for you. I'm not sure how old this deck is or how long it's been out, but I'm really sad that I haven't come across it before because it's really beautiful and it's very on point. It's something that may actually become a pretty common used deck for me, which is to say a lot out of the over 200 that I have. And I'm going to apologize now. You're going to hear the shuffling in between. I will pause talking when I'm shuffling, just because I know it's kind of annoying, but it has to be done. I did a lot of pre-shuffling because it is a new deck, but I want to continue getting some shuffling in to make sure that it's nice and ready. But anyway, so this Runic Tarot is obviously a rune background, a runic type deck. It is a full 78 cards. And a couple of differences in the suit, like the horns are cups and the shields are pentacles or earth, and then the wands and swords are the same in the suit. But other than that, it's pretty standard. These are some beautiful borderless cards with some very, very pretty writing. Imagery is pretty standard as far as the meaning behind it. For example, in the strength card, it might be, I don't know, a rhinoceros instead of a lion. I saw it earlier, but I'm not sure exactly what it was because I went by a little too fast, and it's early. So I've done a little circle today. I cast a circle this morning for this and did a little mini meditation. So I am really excited to get this information to you today. We're going to use the Odin's Sight spread, which is recommended for Norse Pantheon type readings. And it basically gives you an alignment between the past, present, and future, and then an action step to take that the universe wants you to use to continue moving forward if this is the future you're looking for. I've never done it before, so we're going to see how it goes, but it just felt like the right one today. Vikings were fiercely loyal to their clan. And they did everything together because that was their clan. But yeah, so Runic Tarot. Obviously, I'm going to put the information up by now, probably already have. Bear with me, I'm still tired. I've only been up less than 30 minutes. But I really wanted to get this going so I could post it early today. We got a lot of prep to do, and I honestly have looked forward to this all week. Just today, getting this tarot in. So let's get started. Let's see what we get. I am going to pull all 4 cards this time before I get going or before we really start reading. I've done that in the past a little bit, and I'm starting to like that layout a little bit better. So let's see what we get. So the Knight of Swords. The Page of Pentacles. The Ten of Swords. Showing up way too much lately. And actually the Five of Swords as the action step. So we've got a lot of talking to do this morning. So let's start with, as we usually do, a little bit of learning, at least from my path. And remember, when I talk about quote-unquote learning from my path and how I do tarot, this doesn't mean you have to do it this way. I mean, that's just not how I think it should work. Because you do your own style, you do your own intuition, your own things, and you read how you want to read and how universe thinks you should read. Yes, I know it's early for soda, but Rook makes most of my coffee, and he does really good, so I have to wait for him to get up to make my coffee. Pitiful, I know. But anyway, so we've got two what we call court cards, right? So you have your Knight of Swords and Page of Pentacles. So those are two things that we're really going to want to look into pretty deeply. We don't have any major arcana cards, so that kind of tells me that this is really focused on kind of the dailies, if you want to say it that way, the things that are going on in our daily life. This isn't some big change or some career move or things like that to me. That's kind of how I read when we don't have any major arcana. But the two court cards tell me that there's going to be a lot of people involved. So this is tribe and this is community, but this is paying attention to certain people that are going to be coming in or have come into your life and are part of something that you're doing. And then the fact that the only two other cards that we have are both swords. This is leading me to think that this is an upcoming challenge ahead that we're talking about. Now, I want to point out something here that I think people, at least in my opinion, forget when it comes to tarot. I was going to say it, tarot. I actually think that sounds neater, but I don't know how to pronounce it properly. But anyway, so just because the cards right now are talking about upcoming challenges, you have to remember, even when they're not, there's still always challenges. This doesn't mean that there is a void of other things in your life or a void of happiness or a void of joy in other situations. This just means right now, universe and tarot are talking about the challenge. That's what it wants to let you know today. If we pull another spread 5 minutes from now, it's going to be different. And it's going to be focused on a different issue or a different subject, right? So remember that when you pull or when you for somebody else, or when somebody does a reading for you specifically, and you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. Everything sucks. It's all swords. It's, stabbed in the back and life is in it. It's tower. You have 10 of swords in the tower. I don't know, the 7 of wands. It's just whatever. And you have all these things that are telling you that it's rough. Those are always there. It's just maybe universe wants you to think about it differently right now. And maybe that will help that challenge. So remember those things when you're reading, that the cards aren't the only situation that's happening in your life. It's just the one that universe wants you to focus on. So with that in mind, let's talk about, let's talk about one more thing before we get started on the actual read, and that is the court cards in this deck. They're not always the same, but they generally have the same pathway, right? For example, usually your page is the first entry into the court. This might be, to me, very similar to the idea of the Fool. It is the essence of an energy, but it's early essence. It's new essence. It's very much excitement and, oh my God, I just got promoted to the page. I'm in the court now. I get to do this. And if I'm the page of pentacles here, I'm in the court of earth and wealth and things like that. And it's going to be very, very, very interesting to get those things moving. And then you move to the Knight, and the Knight's, well, that's the next promotion in the court, right? The Knight is protective. The Knight is strong. The Knight is knowledgeable. The Knight is riding his or her or their horse out into the middle of the battlefield and standing up for what they believe in and pulling that energy through. And your Queen is the full embodiment of an element that is all-knowing and all-understanding and just balanced in a way that nothing, not even the King, can be balanced at in that area. The Queen can give you advice that the King can never come up with, because the King is going to be a little too focused on all of the things that they are trying to do, where the Queen knows who you are. The Queen knows you, and the Queen wants to help you and is there for you. That's what a Queen does. And then, like I said, your King is supposed to be the highest court card, which in medieval times and times, a lot of times that is, but a lot of times that's also not true. But in the end, the King at the top of the court cards in the tarot is really representative of what they stood for, which is that specific, organized, directorial, focused energy, where your Queen is really the true embodiment of all of that energy. I just kind of wanted us to throw that out there real quick. So let's start with, like I said, the Knight of Swords. And remember, we're doing a past, present, future with an action step. So one of the things that the Knight of Swords really talks about is actions that need to happen to overcome obstacles. And because this is in our past, then this is kind of telling me that this obstacle or this issue that we're having that we're going to have to overcome, we've overcome it before. It's just another episode of the same issue that we've been having. So you're going to go through it again, and you're going to be like, really? I do not want to go through this again. I can't take it. I cannot go through this again. But the knight knows they're going to go through and they're going to push through, because that's what they've worked for their whole career. They are there to push through, to go out into the middle of that field and to lead others. Knights are honorable. They are loyal. So in the past section, as a challenge, you've overcome something relatively recently in your past, and unfortunately, it's going to rear its head again. So you're going to have to maintain your course. You're going to have to really think through that energy of, I have to go through this again. There must be a reason, and maybe I didn't deal with it properly. I don't know, but you're going to have to deal with it again. The other thing to be kind of wary of when the King of Swords is in a spread, I'm thinking again still past, is be wary of impatience. The Knight of Swords really wants to go do things right now. And maybe that's why you're having to deal with this whole thing again, is because there's some impatience there. And you might want to just consider that if you are patient and work through whatever this is that's rearing its head again, that if you do it with a little bit more patience and directness and specificity, we'll figure that one out together at some point, then maybe it won't come back around. So that's the other thing that I kind of want to really, point out on that front. So we are going to look at next the Page of Pentacles. So in this suit, it's really horns, right? I'm sorry, shields. Horns is cups. So emotional water. And Pentacles, which is our Earth card generic, we're looking at the horns. So the horns give us quite a few different things to really think about. And I know I just said the horns again. I mean the shields. I have obviously, do run into a little bit of trouble when the suits are called things differently, because I can see them in different ways. Because I can see horns as like the sword, because it's like the action part of aggression in an animal that has horns, but as a cup, a drinking horn for a Viking, right? So you can go both ways. So we're talking shields in the Runic Tarot, which is Pentacles, and the card that we pulled is the Page. So really, remember we spoke just a minute ago about how pages really are looking like that initiatory energy, that excitement, that knight in training or queen in training or king in training aspect, if you will. So what we want to do is we want to look at the page, and this is the present. So this is feeling within the realm of Earth, that you may be feeling that this is something that's new and exciting, but you're also a little tepid or a little anxious because we're learning and experiencing new things. And these are physical things that we're experiencing. We're experiencing maybe a little bit more comfort in our financial systems, or we're experiencing a little bit more comfort in our home setting. Like our house is a little bit more secure right now, but still nerve-wracking because it's still new. It hasn't really been cemented in. It's really about, in the current scheme of things, you're in a place of standing up for your ideals and defending them, not defending them like violently, but holding them close and saying, look, I need this. I need safety net. I need the place that's in front of me. I need a place to lay my head down. I need a place to sleep at night. I need a place to feel like I'm at home. This can be anything in the earthly world. This, like I said, home is usually a top pick for me, but it can also be work. It can be anything that's physical to you that's becoming more and more secure, but it's making you a little bit nervous because you're not used to having that more and more secure thing. But allow it to be there, allow it to be secure for you, because you're going to need that as we move into the future. Page is also, Pentacles is often related to, what's the word? detail. I know I used specificity earlier, but it's detail. So paying attention to the detail right now is important. It sounds like you're probably doing that, but just know that that detail is going to be important for the next step. All right, we're going to move to the Ten of Swords. Now, this Ten of Swords is very, very aggressive. Like, it's different than the ones that I have seen in the past. One thing that you'll notice is there are a lot of runes in this card. I see Otello, I see Fehu. So there's a couple of runes in here that are really kind of in the tree too, which may be harken back to Odin's tree, but not sure though when it comes to having the 10 swords. It's really concerning. What you really see in this deck, and this is future, remember, is the death of something, the letting go. But, you know, where we talk about the tower, which is a transformation of things, of letting go of an entire systemic thought process, the Ten of Swords is very, very much more specific. It doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean that there's new beginnings around the corner. There are, because that's how the cycle works. But the Ten of Swords isn't talking about that. It's talking about you, your situation, and letting go of that thing that has died or is dying. It doesn't mean that that thing can't regrow. It doesn't mean it's gone forever. It could be gone for 2 days. What it means is, in order for anything to happen, you've got to let it go. The shift is going to happen whether you accept it or not. And you got to let it go. Like, that's really as much as it's going to tell you, because really our focus in the Ten of Swords is that whole tying up of loose ends and making sure that things are closed out and formulated to be done. Now remember, also let me go back here. We have the Knight of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, and then 2 more swords. This is about opportunities with some earth thrown in it. The rest is all swords. So I really would caution you to think that this is not related to a romantic issue. It's not really related to love or hopes or dreams. It's not any of those things. This is like a decision that you're making that you need to hold off on, or tie up loose ends before it can go further. We're going to see what this action card tells us to do, though. But don't fret. This is a small thing. This is one of the littler things. This would be more like, don't buy a car right now. Wait a minute. Or, you know, let me think of something really good. I want to explain it clearly because it's a specific situation for somebody out there that needs to hear this. It is, if you feel like you need to change something in your life, you should. But tie up the pieces first and learn to let it go and process it, and then move on to whatever the next thing is. And if that thing needs to come back to you, it will. But that's kind of the energy we're talking about here. A little bit different than like a tower or this massive ending. But again, when we talk about coloring the whole read, we don't have those major arcana cards. We've got some court cards, which are representative usually of people and things that we want to hope and dream for. And then we've got swords, which is all about intellect and decisions and challenges. So just be careful with that. Our final card, excuse me, and I apologize, Doggo is seemingly waking up right now. So, interestingly, your 5 of Swords in this particular reading is your action card. And it truly represents all of the challenges that we work together, that life throws at us. As an action card, we're talking about processing those challenges. So what I want you to do is, if you are facing a challenge that, again, remember, King of Swords, Page of Pentacles, this is a challenge we've fought in the past and we won, and now it's back, and we need to think about being more patient and working through it, tying up loose ends, and then letting it go. That's our path from past to future. If we want that to happen, if we want to tie it up and let it go, then we're going to have to pay attention to the 5 of Swords. And the 5 of Swords is really saying, use your experiences, your challenges as a growth point, And see them not as something that's just hard, or I don't want to do it, or it's too much. But see it as a growth point. See it as, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to work through this challenge. I'm going to be patient with this. I'm going to tie up those loose ends and move forward. I'm going to let the Five of Swords help show me my challenge. And I'm going to overcome this challenge once and for all. And you have to face them. And that's what the Five of Swords really says in and of itself, is you have to face your challenges. As an action card, it's telling you to face them directly, follow the energy of the rest of the read, and really work through it to the other side. And it'll be through. It'll be done, and it won't come back. So that is the read for today. For the week. And, it's not the happiest read we've done in a while, but things take a dive every once in a while. It's not always better, good. But I caution to think that any read, including this one, is quote unquote bad. Because it's telling you about challenges. It's telling you about things that human beings will always face. And it's telling you to remember to learn from them and work through them with patience and really pay attention to what's going on with them. I do hope that this has some good meaning for you. If not, great fun. And if so, please, know that things are there for you to see and things are out and around us. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more, or just hang out whenever. Most importantly, it's the comments. I want you guys to comment and let me know what you think about the read. If you have any input on these cards yourselves, do you like the Runic Tarot deck? Do you hate how I read cards? That's fine. Just don't be rude about it. Just want to hear your thoughts. Love tarot. Love to hear what people think. So again, thank you very much. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And we'll see you soon.